It's like, oh, yeah, I'm me. Yeah, that hasn't changed. Good to see you. I totally wasn't trying to get behind the
Oh
story.
my gosh. By the goddess, she says. Are you the surprise guest that Elias was talking about?
Sure, let's go with that. That's much more believable than what actually
Oh
happened.
my goodness. I thought you guys were on bad terms. Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Meridi. And she holds out her hand.
She's going to take the hand and shake it and be like, Rayne to Kai, you already knew that, so, but good to meet you anyway.
It's such an honor, she says. She says, such an honor to have you here and joining us on this adventure.
Adventure. Sounds interesting. Tell me more.
Well, yeah, hon. You're gonna go help us save the world and defeat the Reapers, right? Meridi has such a big mouth.
That hasn't been told to me just yet, but I would love to get back to Elias on that.
Ah, Elias probably is holding out on you. Where is he? Elias! She looks around.
Elias is back with the others. We had to make an emergency stop here. Sink had a bit of boo-boo.
Sink? What happened to him?
Well, just near-death experiences to take the wind out of you.
Is he going to be alright?
From what, well, he seemed to be in capable hands, so I would assume so.
Oh, well, then in that case, at this point, Jeremy opens the door. What happened here? I heard a scream. Oh, Jeremy says.
Person.
Jeremy says, that's why. As you look back and forth between the two, Rayne, you can't help but feel like they both almost look like twins. Only one, like fraternal twins. They almost look like brother and sister. And they're both pretty hot.
She's gonna like put like her fingers between her brow ridges. Like, what is it with Elias recruiting people that are too attractive to exist in the world? I don't get it.
Hey, she says, there's nothing wrong with being too attractive, okay?
No, you just don't understand. Like, to put it in context, okay? Like, take everyone else as a whole. They're about, 7. I can see some things here and there. You're a solid like 15, and then he is just galactic levels of difference that shouldn't be allowed to exist.
Wait. You think he's more attractive than me?
I got a thing for firm jawlines, okay? Like, come on.
Okay, that is just messed up because I'm the original, she says. I am the unchanged, untouched original. He's augmented or whatever it is you want to call it.
Would it feel better if I explained it to you as galactic levels for you and supernovas for him? Would that make you feel better, or?
Yeah, Meridi says, yeah, I think I'm a little insulted by that. And at that point, Meridi says, oh, really? He says, yeah, really. And they like pretty much are getting up on each other's faces. If you guys are gonna do this,
I really need to get some popcorn.
Does Rayne go and get some popcorn?
Like, yeah, like she's gonna literally like start to leave and go get some
Rayne's
popcorn.
like,
hold that thought.
Yeah, and
you
Jello.
Still Anar snacks,
lots of Jello. We need Jello. I need to get Jello. Lots of Jello.
The ratings just went through the roof. The Tuchunka adventure with jelly wrestling.
So, Rayne, are you going to the kitchen? Are you going to the mess area?
Yeah, she's gonna run in there and she's like, don't do trial by combat until I get back.
All right, Cicepia, you probably hear arguing in the main room. It's almost like literally brother and sister arguing with each other.
I'm just gonna just roll my eyes at the situation. Just okay. If we're ever gonna get you back onto Tuchunka, we're gonna have to make a lot of precautions, so that you'd be able to even just function properly. walking and all that stuff on the planet.
You hear somebody yelling. You hear Meridian saying, "You can't have both Elias and Rayne."
and then Rayne's gonna like, she's gonna pause, and it's like, and then she's gonna keep going. And then she's gonna come back in here and have her bowl of popcorn. It's like, all right.
Meridian says,
Continue.
Meridian says, they're like a set. They're like a set, she says. And Meridian says, that's not how it works. They were against each other in the competition. But obviously they've patched things up, Meridian says. And we all, can just hang out like friends. Oh yeah, sure. Friends, Meridian says. And this just keeps going back and forth.
She's gonna keep a tally of points.
Well,
damn, I gotta award that one more attractive for being like really good at arguing.
Yeah, Moretti already said. Well, he says Rayne already says that I am the far more attractive one, and Moretti says, "Well, I'm the more intelligent one," and Jeremy says, "No chance, no chance." "Oh, really?" she says. "Fine, we're just gonna have to prove it then." "Okay, what are your terms?" I saw Cicepia moving.
I just kind of was like, move from one end to the other end. Debating whether she should try to break it up or not.
We're gonna do a tech off. When your boss is back up on his feet, we're gonna have him pick something that the both of us will build, and we'll have a tech off, and we'll see who's the smartest one. You're on. And he holds out his hand to shake, and she gives it a shake as well.
I love spontaneous competitions.
This is gonna be very interesting.
Very good.
Oh jeez.
And I'm hearing all this, right? I'm like overhearing all this, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
At this point, Cyrus will say, "Well, it looks like your friend Sync's going to be okay, but if you guys need to catch up with your friends, I should be able to settle things off here. And if you ask me, maybe you should take one of the Wonder Twins with you. Separate them for a bit before they tear this place down. This whole ship down."
Any chance you want to come along to the cloning facility, see what's going on over there?
Not particularly. If you want, you can keep a close communication with us, though. I am kind of curious as to what the place looks like. If you want me to keep your friend here in good health, I should probably stay in the med bay.
Right. What do you think, Sync? Are you going to be okay here, or?
Yeah, I'll be fine. If anything, I can get the ship closer to you guys if you guys need to get out there in a hurry.
You realize I'm gonna need a little bit more than macaroons for this.
You can square that away with Otto.
I like that Krogan.
Oh.
I'll go talk to Rayne.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep,
Alright.
making my way. Yep.
And as soon as Cicepia comes, it's like, oh, you just missed the best part.
Sync's unconscious. He seems like he's doing well. He'll probably stay in the bay, though. We could probably start making our way back to the cloning facility.
Oh,
Cloning facility? Meridian says. What cloning facility?
Oh no.
no, you can't have more of you. The answer is no.
She says, I'm not talking about cloning me. I said, she says,
out of the way.
what, you don't mean? I said that I needed a set, right? There's 3 Eliases out there.
Collect the whole set.
As far as I'm aware, there's also 3 Raynes, so...
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Meridia
but they
doesn't know
don't-
that. Meridia doesn't understand that.
That's true. We haven't
And they might not all have the really cool scar.
If any of you want to come along, see if you can help out in any way, feel free to. Otherwise, Rayne and I will just make our way back to the cloning facility.
Yeah, there's plenty of room in my car.
I'm gonna stay here with Sync. I kind of want to see what's going on with Arkara. So she's over there at the facility?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yep.
All right. I'll hang
Alright,
out.
cool.
Wait. So
Come
is
along.
Remy staying or is Meridia staying?
Dremy is staying with Sync.
Okay,
Alright, cool. Keep us posted on his condition then.
Come along, Rayne, she says, as Meridi kind of grabs a hold of Rayne's arm. Let's go off and leave the boys back here.
Yay, new best friend.
You stalkery friends!
When Meridi comes back to the med bay, he leans over towards Sync and he says, "You know, man, I hope you realize how much I'm sacrificing for you for this." He says to Sync.
You sacrifice. What are you talking about?
I just gave up a chance to hang out with Rayne herself in order to make sure that you are okay.
Oh, well, I appreciate it, but I give him like a fist bump.
What'd you say? What did you say, Sync?
A fist bump. A fist bump.
I give him like a fist bump, say I appreciate it, but
All right.
Meanwhile, she's gonna like pop her head briefly into the med bay and like see Sync's like, all right, good, you're awake. See you next time. Hope we get a chance to talk. Gotta go do stuff and things. Yeah. Bye.
Back to the facility. Book is conversing with Solarian at the facility, and Paddock Wicks approaches with Arkara, and it says, "Excuse me, sir. We have a representative from the Thek clan here who wished to speak with you." It appears to be a man of Asian descent, human man of Asian descent. His brow furrows a little bit as he sees Arkara, and he says, "A clone wishes to speak to me." She's actually the original clone, Paddock Wick says. "And that's supposed to mean what to me?" Chen says. Paddock is sort of like, nudging towards Arkara, as if to say, I know, I've showed you where he is, so you can do whatever it is you're gonna say whatever it is you want to say to him.
I take a step forward and like, so you are the one in charge here?
He says, "I only speak about clan business with the chief. Where is he?"
You're looking at her.
He looks very confused.
Chen.
If I may, Mr. Chen, the Krogan have told me that Thek has a successor, and he's pointing towards her. Is that so? He puts his pad away. He had a little an Omni tool pad or whatever, and he puts it away. "All right, my dear. What is it that you wish to speak to me about? Make it quick."
Well, first and foremost, what have you been doing here?
"What does it look like we've been doing? We are trying to save the Krogan, cure their genophage problem."
By making every female docile?
That is a side effect.
Quite a convenient
was
one,
not
I'd say.
intended. Yes.
For you, anyway.
I have he says, "I don't care if they're docile or not. Although I think your previous chief seemed to be more interested in that side effect than I did."
Well, of course he would. Considering what I did.
I'm assuming you're probably unhappy with how your fellow female Krogan has been treated. I assure you, I have nothing to do with that. I make it a point to not meddle in the affairs of the Krogan. Our agreement was very simple. We provided them with the clones to help them rebuild their people, and we get paid. We are, after all, the friends of the galaxy.
I've heard something, well, let's just say a little bit unsettling about what's been happening here in general, though. But how long have you been doing this?
3 years, Book Chen says. We opened the facility up 3 years ago. And I have been ensuring that it has been running in tip-top shape ever since.
So you're only doing this for money, then?
No. Don't misunderstand me, he says. The goal of Friends of the Galaxy is to try to better the entire galaxy as a whole, despite some of the shortcomings that life has dealt us. Like the Krogan, for example. I'm sure you can relate.
Interesting.
We've given the Krogan another chance. What the actual Krogan people decide to do with the chance, that's their call. It is their people after all. We just give them the means to achieve the goals. I hope you understand.
Well, I do. I just don't understand what your stake in all of this is, because it seems like, well, let's just say the rest of the galaxy isn't necessarily very friendly with us.
I didn't think the rest of the galaxy particularly normally cared much about Tuchunka and the Krogan people. At least we came and stepped up for them in order to help them. As you probably know, historically, the galaxy doesn't tend to really show any interest in the Krogan unless during wartime. Well, ever since the Reapers are gone, guess what? Once again, the Krogan are swept under the rug without a care. At least we decided to take the time to help them out. At least, it's at this moment...
their entire race?
Like I said, that was a side effect of the cloning
Which
process.
which will be carried through the generations by your clones. The Krogan will be reduced to a people of docile servants?
He says no more docile than the average human, unless you don't think that's good enough for them. Would they prefer to have less numbers? That's up to them. It's at this point, by the way, that thanks to Rayne's extremely illegal driving, you guys managed to arrive at the facility. Cicepia, you arrive, and when you see the man that they are talking to, you immediately recognize him as Book Chen. Those of you who are paying attention, Book Chen, back in session 1, is one of the names that Shias Lazine gave him.
She's gonna, whenever Rayne gets in there, she's just gonna kind of brush off her shoulders and be like, man, I really need to tip my mechanic more. That was amazing.
She's gonna approach, get close, kind of like stare him down. Again, because he's not the same guy from... Not the same guy from different universes.
He's from a different universe, yes.
Yeah, so I'll just be eyeing him down.
Meridi, by the way, looks a little creeped out by all of the glass, the glass things around, and she sort of looks like she's cold. Ugh, this place gives me the willies, she says. I don't know how much I like this place. Oh, hi, Arkara. Oh, sorry. She notices she notices that Arkara sort of like has her serious face, so she's like, "Hi." Oh, never mind.
Yeah, Rayne was staring at Book Chen intently for a moment, and then she like blinks and like looks around. I was like, "Oh, yeah, those are some creepy tanks."
Arkara doesn't really notice that anyone's come into the room. She's so focused on Chen. She takes one step forward. I still find it interesting that someone has allegiances with Cerberus works on something like this.
He, when you say Cerberus, everyone, all of the Solarians that are in the room stop what they're doing and they turn towards Book's position. At this point, Book kind of folds his arm and says, "Where did you get that idea?"
Let's just say that I have my sources that feed me a little bit of information here and there.
So you think that I am doing this on behalf of Cerberus, assuming what you say is true?
Well, I wouldn't know. All I know is that you have had ties with them. So that is why I'm wondering why you are doing this.
Cerberus, first of all, he says Cerberus no longer exists, so why would it matter even if I were affiliated with them before?
Well, if you might be a loyal person, the ideal might still be there.
So why would I attempt to help the Krogan multiply if I was so bent on what Cerberus believed in terms of human supremacy?
Well, the docile side effect would seem quite convenient.
Book doesn't respond to that. You're starting to get a little annoying, Chief Krogan. Chef, he says. Are you saying you are wishing to pull the plug in this operation, dooming your race once again to the genophage?
I am intending to pull the plug, as you so aptly put it. But I don't intend to do Mars. I have other ideas.
Paddock Wick says, I didn't realize you had intended to shut down the facility. We've come very close towards hopefully resupplying the Krogan population.
As I said, I have other ideas.
She didn't say that she was going to completely shut the facility down. She just doesn't like that guy over there. To be fair.
You tell him, Arkara, Murdy says. You better watch out for... Go ahead.
I shoot a glance over my shoulder at Mridi and just nod with a small smile.
You better watch out for her. Mm-hmm. You do not mess with my Arkara. Book Chen raises an eyebrow at the Asari, at Meridi. So, what will it be then, Chief? Book Chen says.
Let's take care of the ones that are here still, but don't make any more clones. This will be the last ones.
I'm afraid we can't do that, he says. You see, your people signed a contract that said that we would keep this facility until we reached a specific number of cloned Krogan. We have not reached that number yet.
Could I see such a contract?
I can send you a copy of such a contract, Book says. What does it... And he says, and who are you? He asks, starting to Rayne. You look very familiar.
She's going to step forward so that way he can get a better look. But no, she's going to step forward and say, well, I've been on the planet for a while now, actually. I forget how many days I've been here. But you've probably seen me around. You know, chick that goes around really fast in a car, sings a lot, putting a lot of money into certain things to help the Krogan.
No,
Bells.
doesn't ring a bell. What does an
Okay.
Asari care about Krogan? What does an Asari care about Krogan matters like this?
Why would I not care is a better question. Like, what reason would I have to not care? They're a race like everybody else. They deserve to not go extinct.
Book turns towards Arkara and says, "If you ask me, I think the more suspicious person here is probably this one," as he turns towards Rayne.
Well, she's proved useful so far. You actually haven't. So,
We've proved very useful. Over the last 3 years, we've proved useful.
She looks kind of offended. It's like, well, I know how our relationship's gonna be.
Anar is going to try to, sending Arkara a message through her earpiece, and she's going to hear, "This one's ready to get violent if must be," and she will hear a clicking noise which sounds like a cocked handgun.
I glance over at Anar and just go, not yet, not yet.
He stands down.
Legally, Book Chen says, we are unable to meet your wishes, Chief, as this contract is binding.
I turn around. Is
What did
anyone
you-
good at examining contracts here?
Rayne raises her hand.
I'll raise my hand. Funnily
Oh, yeah.
enough.
You take a look at this.
Oh yeah, there's always a loophole.
Book
Several.
will send the chief a copy of the contract. I don't know who you will decide to give the contract to.
I give them one copy each.
Worst case scenario, Anar can do some forceful interrogation and manipulation if need be.
Rayne's gonna like elbow Elias and like bring him over here so that way they can conspire.
Okay, plotting circle.
If she's like, it says here that they only need to reach like a certain number, but it doesn't say they have to make clones.
That's true.
Well,
Out of character, that is true.
It says, more to the point, it says the agreement is with Chief. That it actually names the person who the agreement is with. It doesn't say the clan. It actually says the Chief. And what was the guy's name again?
Thick. He's
If he's
technically
dead.
still alive unless the Krogans killed him already. But we can just skip that part. As far as they know, she's the new chief.
Position's gone. The contract's void.
Well, you can either void the contract and completely shut the facility down, or you can just say that they can't make clones anymore, and they are still obligated to help.
Do you trust the ex-Cerberus scientist, though?
Who says he has to be the one in charge? Removal in power happens all the time. I'm sure some lawyer could get him removed from the head, and you could have a different guy, like I don't know, somebody else, someone here that has
Look,
best
long
interest in
story
mind.
short, Friends of the Galaxy don't exist where I'm from. Fill you in later. What's their rep?
It's kind of a back and forth. It's what you would expect from any major charity, underhanded stuff, but decent results, kind of. You get better quality from more private funding, like what I do, which is why I do it. Because I know where the stuff goes, and it's not into this.
Well, I have to say this contract's not really worth the data that's been put into displaying it. Look, I say we void the contract and open up new negotiations for a new one, with safeguards. This one doesn't really have any, and those that are there are weighted in favor of the organization.
Yeah, that's true. If anything else, you can always break the contract and void the contract and have a payout, so that way they can go to a different source.
Works for me.
Dylan, I appreciate your patience, by the way.
Oh no, I'm enjoying this.
Good.
See, Rayne has smarts. She's just a little ditzy.
Or at least takes the time to appear a little bit ditzy. One of the two.
So you approach Book Chen. What happens?
Rayne has a very confident smile. That's what happens.
Well, he asks the two of you.
Well, you're wrong on 2 counts.
How do you say?
Technically, she can tell you to stop cloning, because all you have to do is reach a certain number. But because you had the contract with the old chief and not her, the contract's
She's
void
not bound
anyway.
by it.
Chen pulls out his Omni tool and looks again. It appears you have a point. So what do you propose? He asks the chief. Arkara. Air quotes chief. At that point, Murray says, Chief? Arkara's a chief?
Rayne's gonna look over and wink with a thumbs up. Yep.
Honey, when you told me you were keeping secrets about me, about your private life back on Tuchunka, I never imagined this.
Let's just say it's more of a recent thing. I'll fill you in later, dear.
Oh, this is exciting. Ha! I am best friends with the chief from Tuchunka. I've got to post this on my status. And she starts putting that on her Facebook, or whatever it is. Spacebook, on her Spacebook.
I'm contacting Arkara through the internal comm system. It's like, so you could just void the entire contract and kick them out, or if you want, renegotiate for better terms. Up to you whether you want to, actually try to cure the genophage. Here.
I nod towards Elias and just... I think that the old contract is, let's just say void. But I might still be able to use your help, just not with cloning.
What do you suggest, Chief? Book asks.
Well, first and foremost, we need to take care of the poor clones that are still here. But let's just say that I might have a source to be able to cure the genophage more naturally, but I would need your scientists' help for that.
The scientists would probably appreciate that. Most of them have families that they are trying to feed. So if you have a proposal on what we could do instead to solve the cure, I'm sure all of us will be most interested in hearing what that is.
Yes. Well, you have only been doing as you were contacted to do, so all the blame is with Beck. As always.
Yes. And personally, between you and me, I didn't particularly like him that much.
Oh, that says good things about your character, then.
He reminded me of... He stops and breaks off, and then he doesn't finish the sentence and asks you, continue.
Well, I wave towards Elias. Elias, you had an idea?
We have sources, or can get sources, of genophage-resistant tissue. My understanding is that a cure can be synthesized from that.
Paddock Wick says, Mr. Chen, I think that if what they say is true, we may be able to utilize that in order to find a cure. But I am very skeptical about the source of such tissue.
Rayne's gonna speak up and says, "Don't worry about it. I've done some digging and I've found some interesting things. I bet you guys will be able to use it, and I'll hook you up with my guys. You can work together, and since I'm with my guys, since Friends of the Galaxy gets a better rep, so yay, more positive reputation for you."
Book rubs his chin. Very well. You give us a sample of that tissue, and we'll call the deal done.
After a new contract's being drawn up, of course.
Of course.
One thing, Book Chen.
Book looks up towards the Turian. Yes, and you are?
Cicepia Altus. You familiar with the name Octavius?
Octavius. Maybe. Why?
Answer the question. Where do you know him?
He thinks for a moment. I'm gonna roll to see if he knows anything about that. I remember him, he says. He is the one who took out several of Cerberus's forces back in the day.
You know anything else? Where he is in here? If he's even alive? If you actually know about him?
He is not alive.
And how would you know that? And my hand right at this point, my hand's glowing that has that biotic glow.
He murdered my daughter. Do you need to know anything else, Miss Turian?
I imagine she was a Cerberus agent. Can't be anything good.
Is that what you think?
Rayne's gonna whisper out of the side of her mouth, "Calm down, Trigger Happy. Don't need to start a fight right after we got through the hard part."
Tell me, did you kill Altus? No, not do you kill Octavius?
I don't see why I am being judged for something like that back in the time of war. If it puts you at ease, yes. If that's what you want to hear me say, then yes, I did.
No, the breathing's getting heavier for her.
Cicepia. Wrong Octavius.
Still Octavius.
It's not
far-
your Octavius, though.
As far as I'm concerned, we're even, he says.
How dare you? I want her to fire off a singularity.
Are you going to?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh!
Okay. It's probably going to catch a bunch of people, including the two Solarians right next to him.
Can Rayne interject
Um,
if she sees her raising her hand?
Roland, I want the two of you to roll an initiative. So if you're able to beat Cicepia's initiative, then yes. If you can't beat Cicepia's initiative, then no.
Can Arkara do anything?
Shit.
I will give Arkara an opportunity to yes. If anyone
There's my
believes-
initiative.
and has a 19, so if anyone wants to stop Cicepia, you have to beat initiative of 19. If you're nearby, I think that Elias
I guess it's
is
gonna
right
be the
next to
three of them.
Cicepia.
Oh, there we go.
23.
Someone did.
23 as well.
Okay, so Rayne and
Okay, Rayne, you will be able to stop, at least do something before Cicepia
Rayne-
fires up.
She's going to grab Cicepia's wrist and activate her own biotics to cancel hers out.
Okay. Roll an opposed biotics check. Like just a straight up biotics check.
Straight up biotics?
Now this is getting interesting. 22.
oh yeah, she's
Yes.
gonna. I'm sure she's gonna beat me. Yeah. That would be R4. 3d6. Yeah, no. Just straight up biotics, man.
While that is happening, Book realizes what's going on, and he pulls out a pistol and he aims it towards Cicepia's head. And without looking at her direction, Chen says, "Chief, is this really how you want to begin negotiations?"
And
Certainly not. I step in
Rayne,
between them.
You killed him.
Then he says, "Then keep your people under control." And Cicepia says, "What?"
He killed him.
Rayne's gonna speak in an actually very, very calm tone. It's like, wrong place, wrong time, not the best way to go about this. If you want revenge, you can have the next 20 years or so to think it over, but I won't let you drag the Krogan down with you.
Fine.
I look
I
not
down.
appreciative to Rayne.
Let's step out the room.
Paddock walks up to the chief, and she says, "Miss Arkara, whatever you believe, whatever you think about the Friends of the Galaxy, or those associated with the Friends of the Galaxy, I want you to know that I wholeheartedly am genuinely concerned about trying to see the genophage end for the Krogan as much as possible. I don't know how much I can prove that to you beyond my word."
Well, the shaman spoke highly of you scientists, so that means a lot to me. Thank you.
Rayne's gonna take a few breaths, and then she's going to follow Cicepia out of the room now that it seems everything is under control.
Chen says, "I was ready to write up the contract immediately, but after the threat on my life, I'm going to insist that we do not do so until after we get that sample. Then we can do business."
I turn to Elias. What's your point of view on this? You're the one who actually knows anything about contracts. This is not my area.
Even if it wasn't, even if he were willing to write up the contract now, it would be the entire thing would need to be contingent on the sample being delivered.
This is true. Fair enough then.
"I think we have been more than accommodating," Chen says. "Whatever you think about me or Cerberus, I believe that I have been holding up my end of the bargain."
I nod slowly, and I guess you have.
Come on. We still have a portal to deal with.
That
This
is
one
also a
agrees.
point.
Without that portal being dealt with, all this will be for nothing regardless.
That is true. We have a job to do, I suppose.
It's about 3 miles east of here.
Are you going to do anything before you leave the facility? Is anyone doing anything before you leave the facility?
I'll talk to the shaman and everything and make sure that she's set up to keep track of everything. Put her up on the chain of command.
Are you asking to put... So, you're having her freed from her cell, is what you're saying?
Yes. And making sure that she has a say in how the females are treated. Then making sure the remaining clones are treated well.
Roll a... No, what's the diplomacy? What's the diplomacy?
Persuasion?
Persuasion. Roll a persuasion, please. Cicepia, you get a renegade point.
Yay!
That was very bold.
Sorry, I felt like it felt like it seemed like in character for her to.
No, very, very
That
in
was
character.
perfect.
Sorry, guys,
Yeah.
I kind of botched the negotiation.
Well, while
That's okay.
Cicepia and Rayne are outside, Rayne's actually going to
Okay.
talk to Cicepia. So, just
Okay.
letting you know.
Let me finish up things with Arkara first. So,
It's fine.
Arkara,
Yeah.
you're able to at least. So I don't think that you have nearly enough persuasion to put Thekla in charge of this facility, but you are able to convince Book Chen at least to free her from her cell and roam freely about the facility. He agrees to that. He actually says, I have nothing personal against the shaman. She was being chained up at the request of your chief. Seeing how you are the one calling the shots, I care not whether or not she is freed.
Fair enough then. That will do for now.
The shaman will say, Arkara, we will probably need to revive Kel again. Do you wish to speak to her? Once we pull her out of the stasis, I don't think that we will be able to clone her again.
I think that's for the best. She should have her life back.
She will probably not wake up immediately. But if you ever decide to come back, perhaps she will be awake at that point.
I will have to come back, so at least I hope I will.
Be safe, my child. And again, my deepest apologies for what you had learned about your past. Are you going to be all right, my child?
I don't know yet. I honestly do not know. But I think I'm happy that I know the truth.
Well, whoever you believe you are, whoever believe yourself to be, know that you have saved Thek clan and your people.
I'll try to keep that in mind.
Cicepia and Rayne are outside, and I think Rayne's talking to Cicepia.
Yes.
She's just kind of a little angry just at the situation. Angry, has a little bit angry at Rayne, angry at herself that she snapped like that. Just
She's gonna look at Cicepia and take a deep breath. I'm gonna come out straight to you with it. Do you want to kill him? Are you so hell-bent on it that you will sacrifice everything else to make it happen?
Octavius didn't deserve this.
Didn't deserve what exactly?
He was killed off doing his duty, fighting off, protecting my home world.
And you're the one that remains, right?
And yet the people who ended him are just off free doing whatever.
I can understand your frustration. I know a thing or two about this type of thing. But let me give you a little bit of advice. If you're gonna do it smart. Not in the middle of a room where a bunch of people can shoot you. You're the one that's still alive, and you need to stay that way so that way his memory won't end too.
You're right. Thank you for stopping me.
Don't mention it. I'm just saying, you know.
Fuck. Bye, Blue.
You'll get better. Everything happens in time, I guess. She sounds a little bitter. But you're not just living for yourself anymore.
You're right. Yeah. I should think of others too. Think of my girl.
Keep those people in mind. And she's gonna give Cicepia a pat on the shoulder. He's like, "You wanna get back with the others?"
Oh, wait out here. Wait for you guys to finish up with what you gotta do out there. I'm sure I'll probably just make things worse.
Nah. You'll be fine. But that's your choice. And I think with that, she's
Okay,
well
I'll
done.
come along. She'll follow then.
Rayne does have to question Book Chen, but she can always stick around and do that later. She also needs to have a
We'll
good
say
look
that
around.
we'll say that this is the point where Rayne will break off from the group then. So she can chat with Book Chen about whatever it is she needs to chat with him about. So if Rayne wants to bid adieu, you may.
Yeah, she's going to get with everyone else, and she's gonna like hook a thumb back at the facility and be like, "Alright, so I still have things to do here. Got a few questions for the big honcho himself. So, as a parting gift," and she's going to like she's going to actually unzip part of her armor and pull out a journal from like a hidden pocket and flip through a blank page and rip it out and then write on it. She's gonna be like, "Need my help, or you for some reason take on another Krogan chief, you can give me a call. Sounds like you guys can need all the help you can get." Sound a little deep into things though.
Creator Elias, at this point, Pi asks, "Do you trust this woman?"
Trust might be a strong word. Why do you ask?
I don't.
Oh.
I'll take the number that Rayne gives and say thank you. We'll certainly let you know what happens.
Alright. See you guys later.
Bye, Rayne.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.
And
Spell-
Elias,
Go ahead.
have a snoop around your room later. I left you a present.
How thoughtful. Thank you. How did you know from his room there's nothing in there?
Pi says, "I told you." You guys leave the facility, and you make arrangements to get the sample to the Friends of the Galaxy facility here at some point. I guess you're going to figure that out later in the campaign, how that's going to work. Arkara, you are happy to hear that you are satisfied enough to know that Thekla is free and that she will personally make sure that the Krogans are removed once they are able to be removed from their pods. And the Friends of the Galaxy will hang out at least for the next month for you to return with the sample. So you have about a month. You guys make your way over to the tear, the weak point in the gate, rather. And using the reality collider, you believe that you were able to get there before the tear was opened by the Reapers. You successfully close it, and after feeling like a job's well done, you guys are now free to go back to the ship. Knowing, though, that currently back at the Thek clan, they technically don't have a chief at the moment. And if you want them to figure that out on their own, you're welcome to just let them figure that out on their own. Otherwise, I'm going to move on.
Arkara is not going to be happy with that, so she is going to go back there.
All right, so you're going to stop over at the Thek clan, and what are you planning on doing while you're there?
I'm trying to make sure. I'm trying to make sure that I gather everyone and make sure that the females are allowed to have their say in choosing a new chief. And try to oversee so that, more or less so that I approve of the chief they're choosing.
What about the shaman? One of the females pipe up.
She would be a good choice if she would accept it. She knows more than anyone here, and she is deeply rooted in both tradition and sanity, more than I can say for a lot of other members of this clan. I pointedly look at them men.
The men look away. Arkara, you believe if you wish, you may contact Thekla. Now that she is not incarcerated, you actually are able to communicate with her. Are you going to ask her if she would like to, at least for now, take the mantle as chief of the Thek clan?
Yes, I will do that.
If you do, she will tell you that she is very honored, and she will gladly accept the role as soon as you are ready to leave Tuchunka, which I'm assuming is really soon.
Yeah.
She will tell you that she will make sure that all of affairs are taken up over at the facility, and Paddock Wicks will personally continue to make sure that the standards there are still up to snuff as far as how you guys agreed to things. And she will make her way back to the clan to at least take her role as the chief there. Okay?
Yes, sounds good.
You guys then return back to the ship, where Sink is starting to feel a lot better in the med bay. At this point, Sink probably can at least sit up. I don't know if he can walk around very well unless he's got some sort of crutches or some other assistance. Anar, before we close the session, Cyrus will summon you into the med bay.
Oh, goody. Alright, he'll go in without the suit. He'll probably have a soda with him, because he's just trying to wind down right now. He'll say, needed this one?
Yes, he says. You and I need to talk under the circumstances. Was that your idea to lock me in this room? Honestly now.
No, it wasn't. They did it without even asking this one.
They don't trust me, do they?
Not entirely. This one's not even sure if they trust this one either.
Then you're smart, he says. I wouldn't blame them. I don't exactly have an untarnished past, as you know.
Neither does this one. But that's what we're here for. Make it different.
Out of character, did Cyrus ever tell you about the 10-year-old girl, Anar? Did he ever tell you about that?
No. That was something... Cyrus was very, very quiet when he dragged him off that planet.
Okay.
He just knows that he was mumbling about one, but he never pressed the issue.
You were right, by the way, he says. I had a semi-ulterior motive when I first opened that facility down on the Krogan homeworld. That was not completely in order to help them with the genophage.
Okay.
It wasn't malicious in nature, he says. It just so happened that we basically were able to help each other out, so to speak.
He kind of plops over to one of the stools and is like, yeah, this one expected you to get something out of the deal. No offense.
Cyrus walks over towards the spot where Rayne was snooping, and he pulls out the photograph of the little 10-year-old girl. He holds it up to him. This girl was one of my victims back in the day. Don't misunderstand me, he says. I am responsible for her death, but I won't get into any details. It wasn't by my choice. Just know, he says, that I wish to right wrongs that have happened in the past. I miss this little one, he says as he looks at the 10-year-old girl through his visor. I wanted a way to undo what I did. I figured that if I can get a second chance by somehow bringing her back, I'd be able to somewhat forgive myself before I left this world. If there was a way for me to bring her back, albeit as a clone, maybe, just maybe, he says, I would finally be able to sleep well at night, and the nightmares would end.
Did he give Anar the photo to look at, or did he just hold it up for him?
He just held it up for him. But I mean, if you want to take it, I don't think he's gonna... If you try to take it, he'll probably pull it back, because apparently that photo is very important to him.
Yeah, he doesn't try. I was just wondering if he offered it.
When I first got the schematics on how to clone, on how the cloning process worked from Cerberus, I needed to test it. I needed to make sure that it worked properly. And seeing how the Krogan were in great need of finding a way to cure their genophage problem, the answer was quite obvious. By helping them, I was able to help myself, to prove that the cloning process was feasible.
Anar puts down his soda for a second. Cyrus, you know there were complications that happened when you were gone, right?
I can imagine so.
Did you already do this? Did you already attempt to bring her back?
No.
What's keeping you, friend?
He pauses. As a doctor, when you're such a field as myself, the questions of whether or not we can do something sometimes get muddled with whether or not we should do something. I'm struggling with the should part.
This actually makes Anar, shift back a moment. The Cyrus Lennex is having a moral debate. It actually leans forward on two tentacles. This is new.
Sync, by the way, you actually are sleeping during this because you're in the med bay as well. Mm-hmm. But when you wake up a little bit, you can't help but, wake up during the part where he says, I can bring her back from the dead. Maybe I can forgive myself and the nightmares will end. Hint, hint, hint.
Oh,
and that's when and so basically you're hearing this whole conversation about, him trying to bring her back, but not sure if he should. He probably could, but he's not sure if he should, blah, 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 blah. And conveniently, Sync is awake, but they don't necessarily know that you're awake while they're having this conversation. Chess pieces.
Into place.
Oh, jeez. That's heavy.
How does Anar respond?
He actually sympathizes with Cyrus. This one can't help you decide that.
Let me ask you this, he says. If for some reason someone very important to you was taken away from you, Trissy, for example, would you take the opportunity to bring her back if you could?
Anar flinches at the mention of Trissy because he's been trying hard not to think about everything that's happened. You know, just to clear his head. He actually sits back and actually really thinks about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'll look at Cyrus and say, "This one sees your point. It's not sure."
It's not easy when you believe you have the power to play God.
No, this one supposes it isn't.
I bring back people to life all the time. Your friend, for example, today. But that's different. Where is the line, do you think, that we should not cross? We've gone through many... See, he says, I come from a race that is used to making advances in science, technology. We're always pushing the envelope, always trying to do bigger and better things. So the question then becomes, how far do we go? How far should we go? And I must say, even myself is sometimes baffled as to what the answer to that question is.
It's as if you're creating an extra copy of the person to try again.
It seems like your friend Arkara had very similar dilemmas over how far science should go in order to solve a problem. How desperate she should be in order to have the nightmares of her people end. We're not so different, after all, us races, if you think about it. This is probably the most profound that Cyrus has ever been, and the most serious. Behind the crotchety old man, like, Cyrus is actually seems to be in a very philosophical point right now, which you haven't really seen him in a long time be this way.
Or if ever.
Or ever.
Man. It's a lot for Anar to take in, because with everything that's been happening, he's just been trying to sort through his own feelings about everything, especially everything that just happened at the facility. Kind of hit him, very emotional, because he's actually starting to grow very attached to everybody. He hasn't mentioned it, but he's actually grown very attached to Arkara from the crap they've been through next to each other. Not like that. Attached in like a fondness.
Just her
No Arkanar. No Arkanar.
Comrades in arms.
I'm not saying that he couldn't develop a crush, but that's not where it's at.
Comrades in arms.
I hope somebody's keeping track of every single... keeping track of every single ship that's been implied throughout this entire campaign.
I tried.
There's way too many.
I just mentioned like faces and then just seeing like lines
I
connecting.
think I manufactured like 4 boats during this entire session.
Oh yeah.
I practically manufactured more boats.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't mean to go on a segue. Let's finish things up. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Anar.
Anar actually gets up and goes over to Cyrus and puts a tentacle on his shoulder. We're all in this together regardless. Take the time you need. This one won't judge you in the end.
At that point, it looks like Cyrus is about to say something else, but then at that point he sniffs. Macaroons. He smiles with a grin.
Anar looks up. Where?
In the kitchen, boy, he says. I can smell it from here. Come, let's go get some.
The momentary distraction was to give me a head start, and he's already halfway out the door.
Cyrus takes is about to leave the Bay Area, but then he turns towards Sink, who is pretending to sleep, and he pulls up the blanket up over him to sort of like tuck him in. He goes over, turns the light out to the med bay, and he shuts the door, leaving Sink to his thoughts. And I will end the session there.